Hello, Armoured Pants here, World of Tank Blitz, how's it going? So we're going to have a review of the VK, which is in store right now for sale, VK4503, German Tier 7 Heavy, and it's coming in around €22, which is more reasonably priced than some of the shite they've been trying to peddle on us recently, particularly that T55A thing. You need to take a fucking mortgage out for that fucker, €90. Fucking madness. Just a little bit about this tank, historical context. 1942, when the Wehrmacht came up against heavy armour on the Eastern Front, they put out tenders for heavier tanks. And that when we got the Tiger, Tiger 2, etc. But this Tiger was never was going to be Tiger 3, but it never came to realisation. So therefore it's Ghost Tiger. The Ghost Tiger. Cool name, isn't it? Maybe they could do some camo like reflecting this to be brilliant, wouldn't it? So as I said, it was designated Tiger 3. Technical VK4503, but it only ever hit blueprints. Was never came to fruition. Was never a real tank, much like the T25 and another German premium tank at Tier 5. Anyway, what about this tank? Well, I guess your natural comparisons are going to be with the Tiger 1, Tiger P, right? And it has quite similar armour profile to the Tiger 1, the other Tier 7 German heavy. But it has less armour obviously than the Tiger P. Slightly less rate of fire than both of those. But it does have the same gun. It has the Quack 88 L71 gun on it, which is a very good gun. It's very accurate. But you will suffer with penetration, particularly if you're up-tiered. So I run refile gun and supercharge on it just to get that extra punch for it, you know. Because when you're up-tiered, you will suffer a little bit. So just be aware of that. You will find it difficult, for example, to pen the IS range, IS3, IS6 front on. And that can cause a bit of an issue for you. Its armour, as I said, quite similar. As it was a more modern tank, you can see that it has sloped armour on the front, so you can see the Germans were experimenting with sloped armour and things like that. And it's much more sloped armour and angles than the Tiger P. But it doesn't have the frontal armour, the Tiger P. It has 100mm, whereas the Tiger P has 200mm. But you can bounce shots, and you'll see in the game that we look at, I do bounce some shots. The turret is nice and small and compact. In terms of its front and back profile, it is long, but if you're front on or from the rear, it does present a small target, which is good. The tank is big, which has advantages and disadvantages. It's tall, but you know, you can bounce shots on it. Here now we're looking at front on. When you go to Tier 7, if you angle the front of it, you will be able to bounce some shots. And if you're against Tier 6, if you're the high tier tank in a game, you're going to do very well. You'll be able to bully a lot of people. In terms of its skill, well, in the 1v1 brawl situation, like a Tiger's, it's very good because it has a great rate of fire. Long range sniping is good because it has a great gun. Peekaboo, it can do as well, you know. Now you can go front line in this tank and play it like a really super heavy if you're high tier. If you're not the higher tier, then I would suggest that you play more support role. Looking at the tank itself, while we wait for countdown here, it is a very nice looking tank. It's beautifully designed. Maybe a pity didn't make it onto the battlefield. So our amazing, you know, pity we can't go and see it, Tank Fest or whatever. It is a lovely looking tank, and definitely, you know, something would be nice to add to your collection. 5.4 second reload now. Actually is, I correct myself, it is actually now slightly better than the Tiger P and Tiger 1, since they got nerfed there a couple of updates ago. So you're going to be comparable with them, and you have similar armour to Tiger 1, but not quite as manoeuvrable as the Tiger 1. So it does have a slight disadvantage in that the Tiger 1 is faster. Tiger 1 has medium tank speed, actually. Interesting thing about this tank from a historical context as well is that it was planned to have a Maybach engine, so which is one of the more reliable and less prone to break down. It was very maintenance friendly, etc. This tank is good on different terrains. We're looking at the gun here now. Now, rather than going to APCR to pen the front of the Carnivorian there, what I decided to do was just go to his lower plate. So as we always say, aiming's maiming, so you know you get a higher roll with your AP rounds, and the gun is good enough to pen a lot of the heavy tanks. front on, but not them all. So just be aware of that. So do load up APCR into it. I've adopted a pretty good position here, not somewhere I'd normally go in a heavy tank. Normally I'd go with a medium or a light tank here, but because I'm lower tier and I didn't really know where the guys were, and I decided just to adopt this position here because I thought I could influence both sides of the map if necessary. And actually you'll see in this game, despite hooking around with this KB3 here, I thought the 10 degrees of gun depression to get me down onto him, but it wasn't. But now he's under me, so he can't deflate either, so we're sort of can ignore each other for a second and just put fire into others. I just wanted to track that. I knew I wasn't going to do any damage. I wanted to track that T29 to see if any of my mates could get a shot on him. They didn't. See there, I was able to bounce that shot. The turret is good. It has decent angles on it too. So the turret, he just sneaks under that shot there. No, very lucky mate. Should have bought a lottery ticket this week. You know, it will bounce shots, particularly if you move around and maximise the angles. The IS-3 there just went YOLO. I don't know what the fuck he was at there. He just pulled outside on and just got blasted. Now I'm worried about them pushing onto me from the other flank, so I decided to go around and take on this KV-13. Luckily for me, he was facing the other way. He was trying to actually flank and got flanked himself. So that would be sort of like, you know, Freddie Mercury going to prison and getting ass raped, wouldn't it? Or would it? I don't know. But anyway, just tried to snapshot in there, made balls. I've just tracked him. I'm gonna put another one into him here now. And then he's just a one shot for me, so he can get around, and I think I get the kill on him. And then I'm gonna push on to try and help me mates as well. So I think we held this flank in this middle corridor very well. Now I'm gonna push onto the Carnivorian, even though he's a tier 8 and he's heavier than me. Well, yeah, I conserved my hit points. I bounced quite a few shots. With my rate of fire, I can out DPM him. So I'm just going to push up here, and you'll actually see, if you do angle, I think I bounced a shot here off him. Just using I go in, use the wall to side scrape, and I do bounce that shot from him. So it was a nice bounce. Thought I was going to get the kill here, but no, somebody sneaked in. Somebody sneaked in there like a dwarf with an orgy, just straight in. There you go. Didn't bounce at that time. Didn't have my angles right. But you know, it's not an issue for me because I can out DPM, and then my mate comes around and helps me out. So there you go, decent battle utilising the tank. As I was up tiered, I decided not to go front line. Decided to support the heavies that were on the left hand side, and put some fire down into the middle killing ground there. That's Mason for Despair, and I actually finished top of that game. So pretty good. So the tank itself is very good. I think I gave the Rim one there. He was obviously doing a good job sniping. Don't know what these two Muppets were doing there. Fuck all by the looks of it. And I think, you know, the tank, if you play it right, it can be a very, very good tank. But I mean, as you can see in that game, if I just pushed on onto the left flank there, I would have got smashed. Because while the armor is decent, it's if you're especially against the tier 8 heavy, you're gonna get hit. So just be aware of that. So I think the tank itself, it has different playstyles depending on which tier you're in, you know. So let's just recap on tank there itself. Our little Ghost Tiger. It's decent armor, but you know, nothing special, especially if you're up tiered. And you will get penned even front on, especially if up tiered. So and it makes it a bit vulnerable. So therefore, don't go front line in it if you're up tiered. Just play a kind of more support role. It does have a great run, great gun, has great rate of fire. Has average enough penetration, nothing particularly to write home about. So you need APCR on some occasions if you're up tiered, especially if you're trying to pen an IS-3 or IS-6 front on. But the thing about the gun is aiming is maiming. So, you know, take your time with it and it won't let you down. And, you know, if you do miss a shot or don't pen, you know, because of its rate of fire, you have a fast reload, so it is forgiving in that respect. Some tactics, as I said, if you're top tier, you can go front line. You can use the turret and the rate of fire to suppress the enemy, and it's quite intimidating coming onto you if it's the highest tier. But if you're up tiered, support your team, don't go front line. And your rate of fire can really help a TD or a slower heavy. You know, you can protect them. You can stop them getting circle-deaded, or you can stop them getting flanked or whatever. And your rate of fire is very intimidating. So, you know, support the enemy. Don't go off on your own in it. Long-distance sniping can work. Peep-a-boom can work. And brawling, it's fantastic. And as we said, aiming is maiming. And now just a quick summary. Ghost Tiger. Sorry about that, couldn't resist it. Yeah, go and change your pants now. Alright, hope you enjoyed that review. Take it easy now. See ya. And remember, subscribe and all that other shit. See you now. Cheers now. Bye. And here's for bye from Ghost Tiger. Bye. See you now, boys.